Jaguars wide receiver.
Ooh, here we go.
Calvin Ridley has been fully reinstated back into the NFL after a year-long suspension because he put together an 11-leg parlay, another 9-leg parlay, and a 13-leg parlay in the state of Florida, legally through a sports book, illegally via NFL guidelines. Even though he was not on the roster at the time because he was injured, he got suspended for an entire year because Roger Goodell said precedent has to be set. With the legalization of sports gambling happening and it becoming much more of a reality in our faces every single day, we cannot have any question of our integrity as a league. None of our players can be caught gambling or even understanding what gambling is. So the sophistication of the bets, I think, also added on to the whole thing. Calvin Ridley's back. He's currently on the Jaguars, I do believe. Correct. And that team adds another weapon. Congrats to Calvin Ridley serving his time.
Hell yeah.
Understanding that because he was the first, he was going to get the strongest and harshest penalty. He is now back in the NFL, A.J. Hawk.
Yes. And credit to the Jags for picking him up, too. I mean, he gets suspended. Everyone kind of forgets about it. And you realize this guy's a young player that at times can be an absolute stud receiver. We know that. So.
Very good football player.
Yes.
That offense.
Trevor Lawrence gets another weapon, and the entire NFL gets told every single first meeting of the year. You remember what happened to Calvin Ridley? Yep. Pete Rose, remember? Mm-hmm. Calvin Ridley, you remember what happened?
Don't even think about it. Don't even go look around, they'll say.
We're going to take a lot of money from every sports book that'll pay us.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You all, okay, this is how this game's going to work. You all can't.
No.
Because then we stop getting as much money because people don't view our sport as fair because you guys can potentially compromise it all. Okay? Mm-hmm. So here's the game. Stay oblivious. Don't be Calvin Ridley, and everything will be fine. That is what every meeting is going forward, AJ. Proper?
It is, but also how weird is it going to be at some point? It probably already happened where they're like, hey, let's welcome on whoever, a current player to the show on our whatever sports book we promote, hotline or whatever, or it's an NFL show, and they're sponsored by a sports book or something.
So I'm not going to say it. Don't need to say it. That type of thing already started happening.
Still happening.
And we just kind of backed off of it because it's like we don't want to be the ones that say, like, that seems like you're dancing too close to the sun here.
Uh-huh.
That seems like you are, but hey, do whatever you got to do. Get your money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to a break.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting, though.
Oh, yeah. It's going to even make more money as we go on every year.
So here is as the states become legalized.
Yeah.
This is just the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Bingo.
So the Colts have a scratch off here in Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
What?
I wanted to have a scratch off. McAfee's Millions. I wanted to team up with the Indiana State Lottery to have scratch offs.
Ooh.
Make it affordable, grand prize, million. Like, let's do this. With my popularity in Indiana, with my demo in Indiana, I thought we could do pretty good on these scratch offs. I thought this could be a pretty good thing. NFL told me absolutely not. So I raised my hand in that meeting where they start breaking things down. I go, how come the Indianapolis Colts are allowed to have a deal with the lottery? I'm not. What's that all about? So they're allowed to make money off of who they are, but I'm not allowed to make money? It seems like a good idea. I'm not allowed to do that. And they go, yeah, players and coaches aren't allowed to do that, blah, blah, blah. Then somebody pulled me aside and said, do you like it around here? Do you like the way it is, the lights, the building? It's a pretty nice place. Got a brand new stadium, salary cap's good, money's good. Like, I was like, yeah, they're like, no need to do the whole poke the bear thing. I'm like, okay, all right, I got you. Turns out that would have been a nightmare to do anyways with the amount.
I can imagine, yeah.
It'd be cool,
Regulations.
But I was not happy that I was not allowed to do it. And I'm like, I'm sitting in a fucking, what are we even doing? How about players weren't allowed to do any alcohol deals? And then there'll be the Crown Royal Lounge is on the field. It's like, what are we even, well, you guys, what are we?
It's different.
What, dude? This doesn't make any sense. Same type of thing here with sports gambling. This one, though, because the integrity of the game cannot be compromised. We all agree with that. I am a firm believer in that.
The perception can't even be there.
Can't even have an inkling of it. That's why when it happened, we said, "Ooh,
Not good.
not good, not good." And then when Roger Goodell gave the season-long suspension, we said, "Feel like that was pretty much understood." But then the rest of the world was like, a season for that, 2 games for this, 4 games for this, 8 games for this. How does that whole thing work? And it's like, you like it around here?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's pretty much how it all went down, isn't it? I mean, that's legitimately how it all went down.
That's what'll be fun to see how everything plays out over the next 5 to 10 years with all the money coming in. And yeah, it's going to be fun.
Big money.
Oh yeah, and there are already marks on the internet talking about the NFL being rigged. So yeah, if you were to add this into it, then yeah, it'd be a problem.
I think you should be allowed to bet on your team, not against your team, because it'll make you try harder.
Yeah, and sign them up for all the sports books.
Yeah, so it's
And the sports books can control what you can bet on.
Yeah.
Would you like to place $100, $500, $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 bet on your team? That's the only bet that is in the sports book for him. You're right, Tone.
That'd be sweet.
I mean, he bet against the Jags, the Lions, a bunch of other
Falcons.
Did he use his own name and his own account?
That's how they found him. So there was a service that the NFL employed that basically tracks all of the sports books, who signs up, and if it's an NFL roster player, they find it, ding it, send it to the NFL. Boom. We learned
So he
that.
could have just had a buddy. He could have had a buddy do it for him.
Definitely.
Yes, which nobody is doing.
No. Wouldn't even think to do that.
Nobody is doing that. For the good of the game.
Yeah, happened to Miles Austin,
Can't be happening.
Oh, yeah.
the Jets wide receiver. coach.
When he was coaching,
He's coaching,
Yeah,
right?
he's doing it from
wasn't
the
even
team
football
facility.
either, was it?
he got fired, right?
Yeah, he's betting on the MLS or something.
Exactly.
I guess I see.
Cricket.
They can't let any of it go.
Bernie
Can't let any of it go.
Kosar was calling the games on the radio for the Browns. Placed a bet.
Oh yeah,
Gone.
It's like
Yeah, you can't be
Probably the first bet
associated.
he's placed.
You can't be associated with the NFL and be associated at all with a sports book.
okay.
We've learned that through multiple situations. That's the NFL stance right now. Strictly because the NFL is rigged is a real thing being talked about. But if that becomes a mainstream conversation where
good.
legitimate people are saying it,
out.
that's not good for the league. That's really the only thing that could probably slow down the NFL at this point.
Yeah.
Games are rigged.
Yeah, that's one of the only things that I think could. But what if the NFL tries to start their own sports book?
NFL Plus.
They make their own rules anyway, right? They could figure it out.
NFL bets.
Probably just easier to just take a shitload of money
Yeah.
from all these other sports books.
Yeah, probably.
Not as much of a headache.
They would get a lot of skins.
Got to open your books, though.
Kind of like the young bull, old bull.
Licenses in each state is what Connor was talking about. Yeah, do you want to run down the hill or walk down the hill? Great question, AJ.